Hey, good evening, guys. It is time for Bollocks this evening. I have Linian here with me, along with Blake, our director, director, pushing all the buttons back there. And we are in
the Bozard Ford studio.
Thank you, Lenny. Always nailing it. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. But first thing we got to do, we got to pay some bills. And these guys are the guys to go to. Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, their goal is to make sure your time and experience buying a car, sorry, I had a little hiccup there. Okay. Buying a car is stress-free, fun, and enjoyable. Bozard is a family-owned Ford dealership that has been in business since 1949. Bozard Ford Lincoln has been the recipient of numerous dealer awards, including being ranked #1 automotive dealership in the nation by Dealer Rater. Bozard Ford also has won back-to-back President's Awards, which is the highest honor given by Ford Motor Company. Check them out today online at bozardford.com.
Eat, drink, and be Irish at Meehan's Irish Pub and Seafood House, right on the waterfront in downtown St. Augustine. Whether you're craving classic corned beef and cabbage, fresh seafood from the Raw Bar, or their famous bangers and mash, Meehan's is where locals and visitors feel right at home. Grab a pint in their cozy Irish pub, unwind upstairs at Johnny's Oyster Bar with stunning views of the Matanzas River, or kick back in the backyard with tropical vibes and a Caribbean-inspired menu. The pints are cold, the food's unforgettable, and the welcome is always warm at Meehan's. You know, my niece's birthday is coming up this weekend. You know where she wants to go for dinner?
Meehan's.
And you know why?
What is that?
Mac and cheese.
Oh, the mac and cheese is so good.
So that's where we're going. We're taking her to mac and cheese at Meehan's.
We crushed some mac and cheese on Monday night, I believe it was. And yeah, it was so good. It's always good.
Yep.
So all the food there is great.
Absolutely.
All right. Their burgers are amazing. Everything there is amazing. So I'm a chicken curry guy by myself.
You know that. That's true. I've tried it.
All right. A.D. Davis Construction. Heard of these guys. They have a pretty cool building, just letting you know.
Don't leak in here, so we're okay.
Since 1954, when quality matters, trust A.D. Davis Construction. North Florida's expert in high-end homes, commercial builds, renovations, and historic restorations. With over 71 years of experience, their dedicated team delivers craftsmanship you can count on and a relationship built on trust. They don't just build buildings, they build confidence with integrity, performance, and results in keeping over 90% of their clients coming back. From concept to completion, choose A.D. Davis, where your vision meets their legacy of excellence. All right. Oh, that's all we got today.
Yep.
But we got all these other ones too.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we got all these other ones here, and we got to talk about St. Augustine Distillery, Citygate Spirits, A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing, Anastasia Diner. By the way, I ate lunch there today.
Nice.
Dropped off a shirt for Andy. Andy, hopefully you got your shirt. But I did the biscuits and gravy with the chicken, smothered with chicken. Oh my gosh.
Good food there.
Oh my gosh, I needed a nap. It was so good. All right. Also, Moultrie Creek Diner, Mr. Electric also helped me out today. Brightway Insurance, St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, The Saint, Anastasia Construction Group, Solar Stick, Aber Kresge and Associates, and Powell Heating and Air. And Andrew, I swear I'm going to call you tomorrow.
Andrew, let me know when he calls you.
I swear, I'm going to call you tomorrow. So, I mean, just amazing crew right there. I mean, we cannot ask for any better sponsors than what we got. So, we appreciate you guys being a part of the Bollocks this evening, team. And, all right, so yesterday we talked a little bit about this topic, and we have a couple of topics. We lost Jane Goodall yesterday, and all the amazing work she did. And I always got Jane Goodall mixed up with Diane Fossey, so that's why I asked it in trivia last night. And I wasn't the only one, by the way.
Well,
a lot of people mix those up.
Fortunately, my anthropology major wife knew those two. Actually, we all knew that one, but yeah, it was the snake charmer that got us.
Yeah, Ross.
The alligator wrestler.
Ross Allen. Yeah. So, who had ties to, obviously, Florida with the alligators, and he purchased some of the alligators and then sold them back to the other alligator farm. There was two alligator farms.
Businessman.
Two alligator farms didn't like each other. So he bought them from the guy who was going out of business, who refused to sell it to the other alligator farm. He bought them and then sold them to the other guys.
That's a man who recognized an opportunity.
I'm sure he upcharged them.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
For the gators.
Handling charge.
And I believe by our math, the last gator probably lived into the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So, from that first sale.
When we were in Chicago at the Field Museum, we got a private backstage tour of the Field Museum because the daughter of a fraternity brother of ours works there doing as a research assistant. And boy, did she take us on a fabulous tour. But the point of the story was that there's a little blurb about Chance the Snapper, who they found in Chicago and now lives at the alligator farm here in St. Augustine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a real.
It's a real it's a real
snapping dirt.
right.
We called them actually gator turtles.
No. This was an alligator.
Oh, it was an actual alligator.
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
they found an alligator in Chicago. They named it after Chance the Rapper, so they called him Chance the Snapper. And because there was no home for him there,
this
they
is
sent
fairly
him here.
recent.
Last couple of years.
If it's Chance the Rapper, he's
Yeah,
not a
it's
very old. He's not a very old dude.
No, it's two or 3 years that this Chicago transplant's been living in St. Augustine.
So, but Jane Goodall did a lot of amazing work with chimpanzees. She lived with them for years, and she died at the age of 91.
91 yesterday.
Yeah, so died at the age of 91.
As opposed to poor Diane Fossey, who worked with gorillas,
Yes,
which are apes, but all apes are not gorillas. All gorillas are apes.
correct.
Once again, and Julie was mortified that she forgot about that. She was oh man.
Yeah. Because I mean, my answer was orangutans.
Did I push you on it?
You did not.
Okay.
You did not. Other people did.
I know when to pick and choose my battles. Don't I, dear? She's going, no chance. There's no way you do. But it was horrible what happened to Diane Fossey, though. That was just
she got taken out by poachers.
Yeah.
So and the other one that I asked was Steve Irwin.
Right.
And I didn't realize until recently how he ended up. What happened to him is he didn't take into account the speed of the boat as the manta ray or stingray was swimming away. And he's like, well, he'll be gone. He'll be gone by the time I jump in, because someone said, hey, Steve, wait, let that go. And he's like, oh, no, he'll be gone by the time I get in. And the boat was mimicking, and that's how it happened. And actually, that was the last conversation
he ever had. No, I'm good.
What they said, it was actually, hey, no, he'll be gone by then. And,
well, good. Yeah. From when you were telling the story last night, I thought he was trying to rodeo ride on top of the stingray. And he got stung. Yeah. Sadly, very sadly.
Yeah. The sloth exhibit is the best part of the alligator farm. Okay. So they have some great birds over there.
Yeah.
So, great birds. All right. Well, the topic I wanted to talk about, and we're going to talk a little bit of sports because we got baseball going on. And hopefully I don't lose Blake and Lenny at the same time.
I took my glasses off, so I can't see.
You can't see that?
Right.
Okay, good. I'll give you the update. Detroit's up 2-1.
And I saw it. Right. If I start sweating, you'll know why.
But I wanted to talk about Nigeria. Nigeria it's definitely in a rough turmoil, no matter how you shake it out. And it depends on which side of Nigeria you're on. If you're a Christian on the north side, you're in trouble. If you're a Muslim on the south side, it's not probably as healthy of a living situation. Doesn't seem to be as extreme as what's going on the north side,
right?
Because what's the name of the group?
You got your choice of the Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP, or you've got Boko Haram.
Boko Haram is the one I was the one that the stories I was on was focusing on in the mid belt to northern belt.
Right.
So
and Boko Haram is very indiscriminate. They'll kill anybody. I mean, they don't like Christians, but they're not big on Muslims either. So Boko Haram is just,
well, it depends on which type of Muslim.
Right.
In that situation.
Right.
So.
Right. And there's a bunch of stuff going on. There's three different things when I was doing this. You've got the Islamic insurgents, which are Boko Haram and ISWAP. And then you've got bandits, which are just generic robbers and stuff. And then you've got, this throws me back to the Old West. You've got the farmers and the herders, which keeps reminding me of the sheepers and the farmers out west.
Yeah.
Or the ranchers and the farmers.
Ranchers and the sheepers, the shepherds.
But a lot of, I don't know if you found when you were looking, but a lot of the things I found when I was looking was that, yes, there's a lot of stuff based on religious identity, but that's just a portion of it. Inflation is up at 30%. There's food insecurity. They had deadly floods earlier this year. And, that's causing a lot of it as well. So it's not only religious animosity, for lack of a better choice of words.
Well, and the reason I wanted to bring attention to it is because a lot of the other places are getting more attention from the protesters, and this is not being talked about. And the number I saw was close to 7,000 Christians. And the story I read was more Muslim violence against Christian in the mid to north part.
Right.
Like almost 7,000 Christians have died this year in 2025.
Yep.
The number that really, really struck me that I didn't realize, over 19,000 churches have been destroyed in those regions.
That's a lot of churches.
That's a lot of churches. And when I did a little bit deeper dive, some of these were mission groups from Westerners that were creating churches in some of these areas and doing mission work. And the Nigerian people, the Boko Haram, I'll probably say it right one time, and I'll say it 8 different ways.
Okay.
The Boko Haram doesn't like the Westerners, like the U.S. and the U.K. and where these missionary people are coming from. So as soon as they leave, they burn the church.
Right. And and they're also not big on having an educated population around them. So they're kidnapping school children. They're burning schools. They're kidnapping school girls in particular by the hundreds at times. But yeah, Boko Haram is indiscriminate. There's a lot of Muslim on Muslim violence. And as you said, it depends on which sect of Muslim you are. But Boko Haram is just, they're just nasty, and they're less, I guess they've got a religious background to them as well as part of their mandate, but they don't care.
Yeah.
ISWAP has a little bit more of a religious direction to them. But what I found very interesting too is that nationally, there's national laws in Nigeria, but then Nigeria is a bunch of independent states or states. And if you draw a line right across the equator of what would be in Nigeria, not the real life equator, but right through the middle of the country.
The midline is what they were calling it in the article I was in.
Yeah. Everything north of that has Sharia law in those states, some degree to another. So it's really not very good there. Southern part of the country is a little bit more organized, but they've got a whole lot of problems.
Yeah, and the numbers I saw from 2009, it's an estimated 52,000 Christians have been killed. Now, Bill Maher kind of threw it out there to the public, and he said over 100. I saw
a note that 125,000 Christians were killed in like 2025.
Wow.
As of 2025. Maybe
as
that was
of 2025.
Maybe that was
it probably started. It probably started because in 2025 the number was in this year alone it's more than 7,000. Is the number I got, and these stats are coming from, depends on which side you read, just like everything else. The stats I'm getting is coming from a group, International Christian Concerns. Okay. Was the Global Christian Relief is the group that is putting this out. So that group is the one that's putting it out, and they're providing food, shelter, clothing, medical supplies, and doing all this for the thousands of Nigerians in need. But if you're living in the northern part, the refugees that are coming out of there is incredible. We're hearing about the Ukrainian, and we're hearing about the Palestinian, and all of these lives matter. But up until last week, I didn't even know this really was a thing.
Right.
I mean, how much did you know about it? I mean, up until recently.
Well, I didn't have it specifically in Nigeria, but Boko Haram has been percolating for a while, and they're just nasty people. But it got brought up at the UN General Assembly.
Okay.
Because Nigeria,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Nigeria is one of the countries that recognized Palestine as a state, and they got a little bit of blowback for it. And they said, "Go away." Our crisis is as bad. Well, maybe I don't know if there was an equanimity to it, but they said Bill Maher amplified Christian genocide, calling it so much more than what's going on in Gaza, And the Nigerians took offense to that.
Yeah.
They said that what Bill Maher is putting up is based on fabricated sources and manipulated images. And they're getting blowback for mentioning Palestine. It was one mention in 25 paragraphs of the speech that was given by the vice president of Nigeria. By the way, all the head of the security services in Nigeria are all Christian, and all the heads of the governmental departments in Nigeria are Christian. But they went and Nigeria had 4 demands at the UN General Assembly. Let's see if they get any of them. A demand for a Nigerian seat on the United Nations Security Council, urgent action in sovereign debt relief, and expanded access to trade and finance. Their inflation's freaking out of control at 30%, give or take. Insistence host country, and this is one we sort of touched on yesterday when we were talking about things here and when you brought up Argentina. Their insistence that host countries of critical minerals should benefit economically. So, or fairly. So, we're going around, China's going around, we're going, hi, here's $10. Can we dig here? And they're taking everything and they're leaving.
Yeah.
And they're not being too fair about the land from which they're taking these rare earth minerals. And the other one was AI must stand for Africa included. So that's it. But I think that's a very valid point that, you were talking about private companies are going in there and cutting deals and contracts with, you brought up Argentina, obviously Nigeria. There's a lot of places in the world where we're going in, other places, other countries are going in and trying to get exclusive access to these rare earth minerals, which are making batteries, making computer chips, making cars, which are, vital to everything right until the giant EMP puts it all out of work. But they're not sharing equally. It's going back to colonial exploitation to a degree without the colonizing part of it. Yeah, run your country. We just want to take your resources.
Well, and the bad part is the governments are so poorly run in these countries. They'll take whatever paycheck they can get.
Sure.
And they're not thinking of the future of their country. They're thinking of, well, hell, I can buy a Mercedes with that. And that's the problem, is how these countries are being run is pretty wild. All right. So
and to your point, so inflation is about 30% in Nigeria. New administration came in, I think it was in 24, that the president is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yeah, he went out and bought himself a presidential plane, and that did not go over well with the populace in Nigeria.
Can you understand? I imagine not. Your country's starving, and you're doing that.
Right.
And that's just can't happen.
Right.
All right. So just by the number of deaths, I wanted to pull up U.S. conflicts that we've been involved in.
Okay.
All right. So if your number at 125.
Right.
All right.
And 60,000 liberal Muslims.
Yeah.
Might have been included. I have it somewhere.
That might be them combined.
Right.
That
you would debit out the 60,000 from the 125.
Of deaths by some violent
right.
Belief. We go back to the religion thing.
Yeah.
Of some violent, of what's going on. Where do you think that would fall with U.S. casualties and the wars, all the wars that we've been in through our 250 years?
The Civil War was the deadliest conflict, I believe, for the United States.
That's correct.
As you come further out of that, World War I was bad, but not as bad for the United States because we didn't have as
we
many
weren't in
troops
it. We
over
weren't
there.
in it as long.
Correct.
Yeah.
World War II was devastating for the United States, but numerically, the Civil War caused more American soldiers' deaths. And then as you percolate it out, Vietnam, I mean, it was horrific, but correct me if I'm wrong, Blake, or you, I think it was like 60,000.
You're very close.
Yeah.
You're very close.
So, and then
it was 58,209.
Okay.
For Vietnam. Yeah. So you're very close on that one. Korean War was 36,516. American Revolutionary War was about 25,000. There weren't many of us.
Not a lot of people around.
We're not a lot of us here. War of 1812 was around 20,000. Mexican-American War, not to be confused with the Spanish American War, right. Completely different conflicts, was 13,283. War on Terror from 01 to present is 7,091.
So that's Shield, Storm, and Enduring Freedom.
I don't think Shield, because it's 2001. Shield would have been in 91, right?
Desert Shield? Did we start doing stuff over there? Then? I thought we started.
Yeah, I think what happened in 91. We went in 91 under HW.
I'm trying to remember why.
Because they
I mean, that wasn't Hussein.
Iraq invaded Kuwait.
Okay.
In 91, and we went over there and
cleaned that up.
I thought that was Desert Shield.
I don't know. Yeah.
And the other one became Desert Storm.
And then Enduring Iraqi Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what we're up to now, but we're not there at least.
So it's still present.
And then we got Afghanistan too.
Afghanistan is considered part of the war on. They balled all those together.
Okay.
And then Spanish American War, 2,446. All right. So just within these acts, it falls in Nigeria. It falls just in that small country. Now, Blake, check the population of Nigeria. Okay, because we're 330 to 350 million people now.
Right.
All right.
232 million.
232 million.
What's that? Nigeria, 227 million? Yeah, 230 million? Yeah, I got 227. That's fine.
So it's 2/3 of what we are.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah. It's a lot of people there.
And this falls between World War II, which was at 405,000. You're saying the 125, and World War I, which was 116,000. That's an amazing number and a percentage that are dying at a violent hand.
And
yeah.
And we'll say real quick about the population, though, like to understand the area. Like, I know, Lenny, you want me to show this map as well at some point here.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, 232 million in Nigeria. That's like around 675 people per square mile. Mm-hmm. The U.S. with our 330 million, that's only like 94 people per square mile.
Does that include Alaska?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're a much larger geographic entity than Nigeria. Mm-hmm. By the way, Nigeria's only been an independent country since 1960, when they broke away from Great Britain.
Yeah,
the UK.
We're talking about the colonization of it. So, I think it's something, and you know, I don't think Bill Maher's numbers were 100% accurate, but I'm glad he brought it up because like I said, I feel like I'm in the know a lot of times, but I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
You know, and it kind of shocked me the more I read. It's like, how do I not know this? And how does the rest of the world really not know this? You know,
because where it's happening. You
know, and we're so locked in on Ukraine and Russia, and we're so locked in on Israel and the Palestinian state that we didn't see that. Did we just have blinders up? I mean, UN had to know.
I think, yeah, you would like to believe so. Boko Haram has been percolating, and it's been on the news. I mean, every time they do an atrocity, you know, I mean, you got to remember, and it wasn't recently, you know, when they would kidnap, you know, 150 schoolgirls, and then it would take, you know, 2 years to find them. And that was big news for quite some time. So it's been going on for a while there. It's just, you know, I don't want to say that, you know, it's Africa and, you know, a lot of people don't care.
Yeah.
And it's horrific that there's no empathy or compassion for what's going on there because, you know, a life is a life, whether it's black, white, yellow, green, or orange. You know, nobody deserves to be killed for their faith, which has been going on since there's been faith. You know, so it's, you know, thou shalt not kill, except if you go to a different church than me. And that's just not right, you know, said the agnostic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but I mean, you know, even as agnostics, we want people to feel safe to believe what they want to believe. And it's just not that way. Now, ISIS is very present there in Nigeria. Yeah. And ISIS is present in Nigeria through its affiliate, the Islamic State West Africa Province. And that's ISWAP.
Right.
And it emerged from Boko Haram movement. And
there's another one that I've heard of before as well, percolating around there. Where'd that go? The Sahel. Sahel. It's another Islamic organization. Where do I have them there? Because the Sahel is a different part of Africa.
And this is not only happening in Nigeria.
Right.
It's also happening in Cameroon, Chad, Niger. You know, so
Central Africa.
It's pretty much that whole. And to me, I feel like Boko Haram and ISIS are seeing the weak points in the government and saying, okay, we can come in here and we can push Sharia law.
Yeah, Sharia law. The whole north of the country is got Sharia law going, which is Muslim law. Some more extreme than others, but you know they're pretty doctrinaire on a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, that's where you lose a hand if you steal a piece of bread, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the type of place if somebody does you wrong, if you stab them below the waist, it's completely legal. You know, there's crazy laws like that. Yeah.
And perish the thought that you're gay, lesbian, trans there, you know, in the South, it's against the law. In the country, it's against the law nationally. In the North, where there's Sharia law, it's also a death sentence, and it's death by stoning. Talk about being prehistoric. Yeah. So it's like, you know, there hasn't been a whole lot of movement into the 21st century, and it's, you know, easy to understand that there's not a lot of infrastructure in a lot of the part of the country that Blake put up there. But it's also, you know, and it's not far from the stuff that's going on in the Congo. You know, that war that got ended, because that's still percolating. You know, there's still going back and forth in the Congo.
Yeah, and a lot of times what's happening in these bandits, what they're doing is they're actually killing the men and kidnapping the women and children, recruiting the children, and
children soldiers,
and raping the women.
Correct.
So I mean, there's so many bad things going on here.
Well, when you see them when you see them kidnapping the girls, you know, they were in probably a religious school of some nature. It might have been a Christian school because they weren't bothering. And then the next time when they're freed, they're all wearing her what was I going to say? Hijabs. You know, they're all dressed and draped in Muslim robes, and you know your eyes are showing, and that was about it. So these poor young girls are, you know, talk about indoctrination.
Yeah. No, it's just absolutely frightening what's going on there. All right. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the shutdown because not a lot happened. Yeah, no, they're just
memeing each other.
Yeah. So do we want to talk any more about that?
It's horrific. Yeah. I think, you know, I've got a bunch of notes on it, but it's, you know, it's just, you know, there's femicide as well as religion. You know, there's killing women is, you know, de rigueur over there. I don't quite understand that, you know, but a lot of it is, you know, it comes down to, and we've talked about this on a lot of other topics. It's land, it's water, it's, you know, as much as everything else, there's, well, I don't have enough food. You have food. I'm going to take your food. You know, I want to graze my sheep over here or my cattle over here. You've got water and you've got grass. I don't. We're coming over here. And that's where a lot of that stuff goes south as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, we can move on for sure.
Okay. How much did you do on the refugees?
Moving. There's a lot of displacement that I know.
Yeah.
There's 1.2 million displaced people facing heightened risks of food shortages, malnutrition, and gender-based violence, and that number is going up. So there's displaced people, refugee camps in the country. I don't know how many people, but people are just leaving, and I don't know where they're ending up. If they end up in a refugee camp in Chad or Niger, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that seems to be the three places they're going. I've already mentioned Cameroon, Chad, and Niger.
Right. And it's interesting because the conflicts, there's three distinct sections of conflict, and they're all on the borders with those three countries. You know, it's Borno State, not Borneo, sorry.
Yeah.
The stuff's going on up there is by Chad. Adamawa, which is where they were burning the churches and killing the Christians, is over by Cameroon. And Sokoto is north center, and that's up by Niger.
Yeah.
So there's three different sets of conflicts and three different groups that are, percolating there that are causing trouble. So it's all over that whole north and eastern part of the country.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
But I mean, here's the thing, because I'm one of those things that the United States can't be everything.
No.
And this is a world problem. This is not a United States problem, but the world needs to look at this. It's a UN issue. This is clearly not one that we need to come in. We're not in the business of overthrowing governments
Anymore.
Well, we shouldn't be.
Right. Oh, no. I don't think we're doing as much now as we used to.
We shouldn't be. But the fact that I knew nothing about it scares me. And why the media hasn't brought it to our attention, is it because of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict
Sucking all the air out of the room?
Sells better?
Possibly.
Or the Ukraine-Russian sells better? Because the country we're talking about is predominantly a black,
right? That's what I was going to say.
Black situation.
It could be as much racial insensitivity.
And to me, that's what hurts. Because I feel that is what it is.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel that is what it is, and I was hoping our society has been past this further, and it just hurts, because the Nigerian moms and dads love their children too.
Just like the Russians.
I'm
with you. I'm with you.
And it just kind of hurts that that's where we're at.
But
so,
and it's interesting because, there's been about 60 UN peacekeeping missions.
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria's participated in 51 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they're saying, not our job, because they're getting in there and they're sending people into the peacekeeping missions.
Yeah, but they're still, like you said, in the north part using Sharia law.
Right.
And if you know anything about Sharia law and you're a woman, you're in the wrong freaking place.
Yes.
It's just you're in the wrong place.
Yes, indeed.
And, everyone should have the right to believe and worship who you want. In Sharia law, it doesn't work like that. Not in the least. If you're not with them, you should be dead. And that's not right.
Yeah.
So, but I really believe it has to do with the color of the skin in this case. And that kind of breaks my heart because it doesn't sell on
network TV in America.
Right. Network TV in America.
Right.
So, all right. Rebecca's saying it's because Israel wants beaches with waterfront.
Yeah. It's got valuable property there.
Yeah.
Which is, again, another case like we were talking about with the rare earth minerals.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to displace all these Palestinians that have been living in Gaza for centuries just so that you can have a resort on the beach?
Yeah. Well, and that we talked about that with Argentina. It's just where the money's at, where the resources are at, and how the next big bully can make the most. Who's the Biff in this situation? So
shutdown.
Yeah. So the shutdown. All right. Schumer has been out there talking a little bit. AOC defended herself on something I saw. Because of course, AOC is an easy target because she's one that the cameras tend to go towards.
So she also tends to pontificate a lot.
She pontificates, she's a posturer.
Yes.
Not an imposter.
No. She's for real.
A posturer.
Right.
And
don't ask me to spell that.
No, absolutely not. But when I hear a politician defending themselves by that much,
right? What was the issue?
It puts up a red flag. Oh, she's like, I'm not blocking anything.
Oh, okay.
And when someone's saying that, either on the Republican side or on the Democrat side, with that much passion, I'm like, wonder what she's blocking. I didn't think about it.
Right.
I didn't think about it until you were that strongly about it. She's like, my door's open.
Well,
but then again, she's like, we're holding a hard line on this.
Well,
okay,
but that's always. I mean, she's not changing her stripes. I mean,
no.
This tiger's been wearing those same stripes since she got here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, she's in the House of Representatives, which right now is not the sticking point.
Mm-mm.
It's the Senate. And, you know, they don't want to come to the table. Now it's a war of memes because apparently there's just running on a loop all these stupid Mexican hat memes that the administration has put out in the White House briefing room. You know, there's just not serious people. That's the problem. They're just not serious people.
Well, and
I mean, some of it's funny. I'll grant that, but it's not the time for that.
Well, they use the internet as a weapon, and I got to give it to Trump.
Ooh, yeah.
He's a marksman with the internet.
But when somebody shoots at him, he gets very. Why are you doing that to me?
Yeah.
You know, he's like one of those 75-year-old, 95-year-old people whose skin is made out of paper, and if you touch them, they bleed.
It's rice paper.
He's got no frickin' handle on being able to take criticism or being mocked or spoofed. Yet he is the first one to throw a stone.
Yeah.
So you know you got to be able to take it if you're going to dish it out like that. And that's all I ask of him. You know, have some backbone and you know, stop whining. You want to play those games? Play those games. But don't go crying to your mother every time, you know, somebody says something nasty about you.
And I can tell you, his so thin-skinned. I mean, like you said, rice paper. But also, today is, on this day in history, is when Woodrow Wilson had his stroke.
Yeah.
And it was kept from the American people for almost 2 years.
Till the end of his term.
Almost 2 years. And Edith ran the country. Cabinet members weren't allowed in there. I mean, he couldn't talk, and he eventually was able to get some verbalization back, and he died in 24. But he never really
came out of it.
Fully. Came out of bed, and he was in and out of comas.
And the doctor was complicit.
Yeah. Well, Edith told him what he was supposed to say.
Right.
Edith must have been a scary woman. I'm just like,
you know.
But there's something health-wise also going on with Trump. And I just wish they would be, I don't think it's anything too serious, but I don't think he wants to show a chink in his armor.
Right. It would screw up his brand.
And it would mess up his brand. It would mess up his MAGA power. But I think there's something else happening that we're not aware of. Obviously, I'm a little edgy with what happened with Biden and how they hid that from us. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Trump's mind and mental capabilities. I think he is who he is. And the stuff that comes out of his mouth, I think it is with intent. And he believes it, whether the rest of us do or not. But I think there is something going on. I mean, he's almost an 80-year-old man, right?
Correct. He's 79 and change, I believe.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's going to have some health issues.
And you sort of have to wonder that there's obviously conversations up on Capitol Hill going about this because, you know, Democrats and news people and pundits are saying it, but so are some prominent Republicans are now looking a little side-eyed at what's going on and asking questions, and they want some answers.
Yeah. No, and Barbara Jean was talking about, I'm not talking about he was shot. I'm talking about it might be his blood sugar's off, or, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's something too major because he's still working an incredibly hard schedule.
Yeah.
But I also don't think they're being honest with us because of the way the media would attack him if it was something or another. So it's kind of a shame that we probably have to know these details. But at this point, the decisions he's making and how the presidency's been hidden in the past.
Yeah.
Like people didn't.
JFK.
Oh, yeah, Garfield.
Yeah.
Garfield was laying in a bed for 79 days, and no one was running our country because Chester Arthur didn't want his opponents to think he wanted Garfield dead.
But that was his job.
But there was no line of secession really at that point. They had to clean up the line of secession so that we knew what was happening. We forgot something
in the Constitution.
Whoops.
Let's go back and revisit that one.
Yeah, I mean, logic would say it's the vice president, but then after that, it got really confusing because at one point it went to the Secretary of State.
Right. Then it was Alexander Haig. I'm in charge.
Yeah.
President Reagan's fine.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Right. Yeah. And you're not in charge.
Correct. Boy, did he get slapped down pretty quick.
Speaker of the House.
Right.
Speaker of the House is next.
Yep. Read the
So,
rules.
yeah, you're like number 5 there, Mister. So,
Yeah. But it's been going on for a while. I mean, JFK had issues that were hidden.
mhm. JFK. Well, and Woodrow Wilson was a sickly man.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was completely healthy when he went in 12, or 13. He went in 13 and replaced Taft. He was a sickly guy
Yeah.
pretty much his entire life. And a lot of our presidents were struggle with different things. I mean, they talk about Harrison and getting pneumonia,
Right.
but they didn't tell the American public that, and he was dead like in 28 days.
Right. Well, there was also, less. There wasn't a 24-hour news cycle. There was less access to the president at that point in time. People were caught up in their own lives. There wasn't a communication network that's instant like this one is. But so much of that thought in. And I'm like, but you look at what you're talking about. Wilson being sickly. But then you got to take the attitude of Teddy Roosevelt, who was an asthmatic, sickly child, who said, "Well, the hell with that," or he probably said, "Boy." And then just built himself up to be an indestructible individual for the most of his life.
Well, and the thing is a lot of people don't realize, with Teddy left because of his wife and mom dying, I think, on the same day, and he went into a deep depression.
Yeah.
Lincoln was a manic depressive.
He started out that way. Yeah.
I mean, he was that way. I think they call it melancholy.
Right.
Right. At that time, but he went in. He had it from a child all the way up until being president, and through being president, and then he loses his children while in the White House. He lost one before then.
Yep.
And
his wife was no big help.
His wife really went into some seances,
she was a little nutty.
But I mean, losing a child, I think, would do that to you. But Teddy, I don't think really people realize how fragile Teddy was early in his life. After he came back from his going out west and doing his thing, and he kind of found himself, is when he became the tough guy.
Right.
He was in politics, left politics to go into the Spanish American War.
Right.
Just to kind of say, hey, I'm going to be a part of this, and everyone talks about the Rough Riders.
Right.
Teddy didn't have a horse.
Right.
In San Juan. There was only one horse there.
But he looked painted. But he looked good painted on it.
Teddy he was second in charge. He wasn't even first in
Right.
charge. So, I mean, and he kind of joined that fight later on in life. But there was a lot of.
But it's a good story.
It makes for a great
Right.
story.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Makes for a great story. But I mean, that's the way our presidents always have been. I think Jack Kennedy, some of the PT 109 stuff was exaggerated in the movie, but I mean, he still, we did an amazing job with that. I'm not taking
They got found.
taking anything away from there. Yeah, rode on a coconut or something, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. And swam pulling the guy with his teeth.
Yeah. So, some of our heroes in today's world might not be heroes.
Yeah, because of the exposure or the digging or the distrust of information, which is, we brought it upon ourselves, the distrust of information, because there's 2 sides to every story. Now there's 3 or 4 sides to most stories, apparently. And it's just, and this is a genie that's never getting back in a bottle.
Yeah. And this is why I love, and it's easy to love George Washington and the story of George Washington, but we really don't know 100% of the truth. Right. But one of my favorite stories that I heard recently, and I think I actually told it, where during the French and Indian War, he was a messenger, and one of the Indians who was a marksman said he shot him several times. He knows he shot him. So the Indians from that war were calling him the bulletproof, or the angel, or basically they said he was indestructible.
Right.
I don't know what the exact words were and how it translated. And the story was being told by, what was the Surgeon General, the brain surgeon, the black brain surgeon that ran for office? What was it?
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson. The story is being told by Ben Carson, who, in my mind, Ben Carson, as far as a Republican goes, he's one of the guys I trust.
Okay.
You know, there's very few people that I trust from either side. Ben Carson's one of the guys that I go, all right, I can kind of go along with that.
Right.
Because when someone goes, what are you, a brain surgeon? He can say yes.
Exactly.
He can say yes. So, I mean, I consider him, most rooms he's in, he's the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
You know, where our current president's a very, very smart guy. But when he's in the room, he always thinks he's the
Well,
smartest
that's it. I think he's exceedingly smart in a lot of avenues, but according to him, he invented everything, or he's the best and the greatest at all of it. You know, pick a lane. You know, nobody's arguing your abilities. As you say, he's the best negotiator there is. But you know, he's also not the best rocket builder.
No.
Or so
yeah, you stick to your skill set, and you know, that's where, if he could just put his ego aside,
right, and that's never going to happen.
He could do some great things, and he could bring us back together, because the Democrats aren't doing it right now.
No.
So the only way it's going to happen, and for the Republican Party to do that, that means they have to take a risk of giving up power, and I don't see them doing that.
No.
I think they're going to stay.
I think they're trying to consolidate more and more power.
Stay on the throat of the Democrats, which is where they got them right now. And, you know.
Well, it depends on how big an issue healthcare is for people.
Yeah.
You know, if rates start going up and doctor visits become difficult, and, you know, I mean, and it's interesting because, you know, now that I'm saying this out loud, if I was the Democrats, there may be some way to percolate this into, you know, their whole mandate now is MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. Well, if I was a Democrat trying to get through this, you want to make America healthy again, make it easier for people to get health care. I mean, I think they probably may be missing an attempt to get somewhere with that.
Well, and I had this conversation. I don't know if Ricky's still watching. Ricky and I talked today. In the U.S., even if you don't have insurance, you can go to the emergency room. You can get admitted. You're going to get the care that you need. Other countries, you don't get that in. And you can say, we don't have free healthcare, but we actually do. And unfortunately, the insurance companies have screwed up everything else that's involved in it. And it's not just the insurance companies, and we don't have any lawyers on this on this show, but the lawyers and those ambulance chasers and those frivolous cases.
Right.
I wouldn't want to be a doctor today. What they have to pay.
It's not the way it used to be.
What they have to pay, and the risk that they take if somebody gets an infection on a hangnail. Yeah, and it is, Rebecca. For cancer too, you can still get an oncologist and you can, but you're not getting the best care. I understand where you're going with that, right? But you're not getting denied.
But the problem with pushing everybody to the emergency room is hospitals are being overtaxed. They're not being reimbursed. Their finances are tanking. They're closing in rural areas, so healthcare in rural areas is getting more and more difficult for people. And it's just
and that's the point I was trying to actually get to in a very, very long way, is we almost have to break the system to fix the system. And that's where we're going to right now with the way the insurance companies are doing and the way the lawyers are going after these doctors. And then these doctors can now protect themselves. And we're putting dollars amounts on, okay, this person lost his hand, but
the schedules,
it's okay, that's worth $80,000.
Right.
And I don't know how to fix that. And I don't think anyone else has an answer how to fix it. It's not the Democrats, it's not the Republicans, and it's everybody is literally trying to hold on to a soup sandwich. And it's not going to work.
I have a question for you, because we always hear stories about medical procedures being denied because the insurance company will say, yeah, we don't think that's a necessary procedure. Well, first of all, who the fuck are you? And second of all, my question, this is my serious question. are those administrative bureaucrats or are those medical professionals who are making those decisions?
They're
And I don't know.
9
the
times
answer
out
to
of
that.
10, it's usually administrative bureaucrats.
And where do they have
Because
the
it
knowledge to do
doesn't-
this? It's a dollar and cents issue. It's not a health issue. It's not a medical.
Dude, I can tell you this. And I've been very fortunate with my health, and I'm very happy.
You
I've been
should
very
stay that way,
fortunate
please.
with my health. And, and how I stay healthy is I don't go to the doctor. Um,
Yeah, I know somebody just like that.
but I had a surgery. I had upper knee surgery, my vasectomy, and
You're flattering yourself. Never mind.
that's what we're going with.
I'm just gonna leave it there.
It's warm here in Florida. So I get back my insurance stuff and they don't pay for my anesthesia. I was like, that's an angry woman claiming I didn't need that for this procedure. And when I called and I got a very nice person on the phone,
Right.
and I was like, what is going on here? You honestly, it was like $800.
Right.
And they wanted me to pay out of pocket. And I was with the county at the time.
Yeah.
I had very good insurance. I still have very good insurance, but and I was just like, what is going on? And the guy goes, I don't know. Maybe they just tried to slide by. And a lot of people don't appeal it.
That's it. Right.
And that's how these companies, they're just doing things like that. If you don't call,
Right. So did you get it approved?
oh, it got approved like that. It was
Okay.
literally approved in that one conversation. And him and I were cracking up.
Right. Okay. Good.
At this other woman's expense our person's expense that we have no idea who denied it in the
Right.
first place. But I'm sure it was one of those things. And they do it in the cartoon, The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Mr. Incredible's an insurance guy.
Oh.
Just say no. Just say no. Just say no.
And that's it. Right.
And Mr. Incredible says, okay, here's what you got to do. You got to take this for me, and Mr. Incredible,
Well, that's it. For them, it's a law of averages because if they deny everything, as you said,
Mhm.
25% or 30% of the people aren't going to appeal. You
Mhm.
go, all right, well, that sucks. All right, move on. And they always get you with the, the anesthesia too.
Yeah.
You know that going in that your procedure's going to be covered, your appointment's going to be covered, and then you always forget about the anesthesiologist.
yes.
And they tend to be out of network a lot.
Exactly. And Bobby says here in St. Johns County, we're building a lot of ERs, which is true,
Right.
but we're not building a whole lot of them in rural
Correct.
Mississippi.
Right. We're doing it where they're building houses,
And we're
not where
doing it
where the need is.
if you look at the median income in
Yeah.
our area, we're the place to do it.
Wyoming, Montana, any place.
So-
Well, there's not that many people in Wyoming, Montana, but there too, the rural healthcare system. But what I will say is, we all talk about how it's getting crowded here. They're building houses like it's going out of style, and the population in St. Johns County in particular is increasing rapidly. The only positive I take away from that, outside of because the congestion is going to just choke us all, the fact that as they're building these large-scale developments, they're also putting in a lot of medical infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Hospitals, they're building a couple of hospitals. They're building emergent care. They're building doctors' areas. So, they also realize that these people are moving down here and they're not leaving, so they're going to age in place,
Mhm.
and you're going to need that sooner than later.
And they're
So-
living longer.
Right.
And the people that are moving here, they're people that have planned for this portion of their life.
Correct.
It's not they're stuck in this area. They've come here for this portion of their life. And, healthcare is a consideration of why they're here,
Right. Right.
So it's,
Right.
Florida has that
Hey, you
axe
know
to
what?
bear.
We've got a Mayo Clinic. We're one of the 3 places in the country that has the Mayo Clinic.
Mhm.
We've got, Baptist Health. I don't know much about Advent. The UF system has taken over a lot of small places like Flagler was, I think it might have been a standalone hospital. I'm not positive about that. But now they've brought UF Health in. So, they're getting a little bit more depth to their abilities. So it's working out for us.
And I apologize because I'm in about 19 different group chats preparing
Prepare
for
for
this
your reunion?
preparing for this reunion.
Okay.
And
You going to braid your beard?
I will not.
Okay.
I will not. So
You're going to color it?
I no, I
Paint
will
it?
not.
Paint
I,
it red, white,
I
and
did
blue?
that. I did that for a Pink Up the Pace one time,
Okay.
and it never came out, and I had to shave my beard. And then when I got down to that, my skin was still pink.
Oh,
So I won't be doing.
you had rosy cheeks.
I won't be doing that anymore. But no, a very good show. This is the end of our week. Blake, you have anything you want to add to what we got going on?
He's been watching the game.
No, I haven't.
Answer that quick.
Yeah. Yeah, and Detroit, in case you're wondering, Detroit's beating Cleveland 6-3.
Right. And I think the Cubs might have just scored a run. Blake?
Okay.
I haven't heard anything.
All right.
Okay. So the playoffs are coming up. A game tonight against the 49ers, and like the 49ers have
They're
like
depleted.
26 people out or something
Right.
crazy. It's like half their roster.
Starting quarterback, 2 starting receivers. Who else? Maybe somebody on their defense.
And this happened to them last year too.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sorry, I'm questioning
Who's their strength and conditioning
Yeah.
coach? Yeah.
who's handling the health of this team.
Right.
Because I mean, they were depleted last year, and 3 years ago they were one of the top teams in the league.
And
that-
it's
the
primarily the
roster
same
hasn't
roster.
changed.
Right.
Yeah, the roster
Debo
hasn't changed a
Samuels,
whole
right.
lot.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about that one.
Well, Bosa's out too, as a matter of fact. They're
Yeah.
edge rusher. So, yeah.
Yep. So thank you guys. Great week. Great discussions, Lenny.
Pleasure.
Last 2 days we haven't even argued.
My wife is so proud of us. She's so proud of us.
Something could be going wrong here at Bollocks. I'm not sure.
Oh, she's going to yell at you.
Monday or Tuesday, we got to have at least one
Fine.
slam the hat. You know, what is it? The old ball coach.
Yeah.
With the visor.
Right.
We got to have one of those moments. So I appreciate you guys. If you would share the show, support our sponsors, all our amazing sponsors, and we'll see you guys next week.
Don't forget, Pink Up the Pace is on Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So go with that too.
And
Do some good in the world.
be
people.
prepared for high tides, because there's a street,
Full moon?
the King's Tides.
Okay.
So the King's Tides are this weekend. So stay away from downtown. Know what high tide is. You know, come downtown, but be aware of the situation and which roads. You guys are mostly locals that are with us. You know which roads are flooded and which ones aren't. So just want to make sure it's going to be one of those King Tide weekends.
Just don't forget your rubbers.
Yeah, what he said.
Galoshes.
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 Yeah.
Don't ask me to spell that one either.
Yeah. And I don't know where mine are. Mine were on the porch for a little bit, but I can't find anything on
I've
the
got a
porch these days.
great pair of West Marine boots
Mhm.
that I use for any type of deep water activities.
Yeah. So
So that's good.
my galoshes are on the porch somewhere, so I probably need to get the bugs out of them.
You got to put
And by the way, you're in Florida. If your boots are outside,
Yeah.
shake them out first.
always all my
So.
shoes. I learned that watching Wicks.
Yeah. Yep. All right, guys.
Have a
We'll
great
see you next
weekend.
week.